Good evening, everyone. It is Monday, May 29th, 2023. It is the holidays today. Just looking back at last week's outlook now, this was my first week trading the Dow, and what I was looking for was a break of what was the current low of the month, right around 33,000. I was looking for a break of that to get into the where I thought our main bid would have been around 32,500, kind of this origin of that end of March ramp. I think that correlates to roughly 3,800 on the ES, maybe 3,850, something like that. Um, Instead, we did hold that weekly point of control. That's why I had that 662 level there. We held that and started ramping up. Now, notably, we had lower highs of day every single day until Friday, where we opened pretty far from the previous day's low. We opened above the prior day's VWAP close and ramped up to about the weekly VWAP. That's where we got up to. Now, this looked like we were starting to get a turn when we hit a previous day's VWAP close on Thursday for the first time all week, and we also managed to tag and hold that March breakout bid, that weekly point of control at 32,662 that I'd been watching. And so we had that identification of a turn, and that's why I was not getting short on that end of month Friday. Um, Now, we closed right around weekly VWAP, just above the prior week's 95% value area low, just above the prior week's low, and the earlier low of month. So we closed just a little bit above these couple of numbers here, just kind of around above that 114 number that I was watching. So we closed just a bit above there, and this has been Sunday's Globex session, or sorry, Monday's half session-y thing, whatever we're doing today. So we traded above there. Important to note that the weekly high, last week's high, is not much higher than the second standard deviation of weekly VWAP. The weekly low is actually inside of the negative second standard deviation of weekly VWAP. And the weekly close, interestingly enough, was the same number as that Tuesday close. So that is an interesting number to me. And that we closed below the volume that we accumulated on Monday and Tuesday. So we're closing below that volume, and that prior week's low is not too much of a statistical deviation from something that we could expect. And we close the week below that volume near the weekly VWAP. We did close with negative deltas on the week despite that end of week squeeze, end of month squeeze. And so moving forward, I'll go ahead and show you guys how I'm looking at this thing. Let's quickly zoom out to the high time frame outlook. Now, we did avoid getting into this lower balance. That's what I was looking for, that 33,500. I thought we might just tag the edge of it. Now, if we lose last week's low, I think we're going to start trading into this lower balance area. But for now, we've held above it, and we're coming back above that 33,361 number. That yearly openish kind of area right around there. It's been a pivot for, I don't know, since June, even earlier, January of 2022. Oh wow, even going back to March of 2021. So we're back around that pivoty number once again. So let's get into the weekly outlook. How are we looking at this thing? Well, news-wise, quite a bit of news. Tomorrow is going to be a bit quiet, but Wednesday, Jolts, Beige Book, Harker. Thursday, we have some non-farm employment change, unemployment claims, ISM PMI, Harker again. Friday, the big one, NFP. So expecting a very hard to predict day to day. But what we're going to do is look at the odds here. So coming into this week, I do have this earlier monthly low that we had on May 4th. Then the next weekly low that we had a couple weeks later. We made this. And then that is where we eventually closed above. So this is going to be my pivot area, this 33,052 number. Just trying to look at what exactly that is. 33, that's the quarterly halfback, so Q1 halfback, that 33052, which just looked like it seemed to be on smaller time frames. Just a nice exact number for us. That will be my pivot for as if to where momentum is lying. Now, I don't think a break above or below is going to be some dramatic shift in momentum. I think realistically, I want to be watching, can we break this Monday high? The reason is because every single week we've had a lower high of the week. That's May 1st over here. You come to the next Monday, May 8th, another lower weekly high. You come to the week after that, you have another lower weekly high. I think that week ended over here. So a weekly high here, weekly high here, a weekly high here. Just lower weekly highs coming in over and over again. Now, as that gets more aggressive, the ability to squeeze once we start breaking these weekly highs gets higher and higher. That's a lot of use of the word high. So what I'm going to be looking at mostly is, okay, can we get above this 33,400-ish area, 380 being the 357 being the prior week's point of control, 464 being the 95% weekly value area high. So can we get above where the volume was done? Can we get above 95% of the trading range? And then if we take out this weekly high, to me, that starts to signal a momentum shift. That'll be the first time this month that we've taken out a prior weekly high. And all of that being done after finding that March breakout bid and holding it. Again, similar to about 3,800 on the ES. So that's what I'm looking for on the upside. To the downside, if we break down below this earlier May low of month, this kind of 33,000-ish number, let's call it 33,050. If we start to break down below there, we'll be below half back from last week. We'll be below the weekly close with the weekly VWAP close, all that sort of stuff. And I would expect we'd start getting some follow through to the downside. And what I'd really start looking for is, are we going to lose last week's lows? And then are we going to trade below that 33,500-ish balance where we spent, the whatever it is, the majority of March inside of? So that's what I'll be looking for the downside. So that's how I'm looking to play this thing. I think no major predictions this week, given all this news. But I'm going to be watching the prior weekly high to get an idea of momentum to the upside. I'm going to be watching these earlier May lows of months, May lows a month to get an idea of momentum to the downside, and anywhere in between there is just just playing it both ways. Hope that makes sense. Hope that helps, and we'll get on going to the Nasdaq and ES later. Have a great night and trade safe.